usually wait for. Beautiful. Well then, my friends. Last that we left off, our group that somewhat recently had a vote to start calling themselves the... What was it again?
The Wild Walkers.
The Wild Walkers. Uh,
Because if we're going to stick together, we might just well have something cool to call ourselves.
after after traveling from Dinas Undad on the trail of the Court of Whispers, meeting some strange creatures and also some strange deities along the way, uh, eventually found yourselves to the seaside salt mining village. Well, it's not seaside, lakeside salt mining or harvesting village of Canal Dive. Kind of the first stop on the road north through the plains. The village is set up along the coastline of the rather large inland lake known as Lindegrau, the Lake of Tears. Shortly after arriving, became apparent that this is primarily a halfling village, though there is a smattering of other bigger folk about. It's mostly halflings that are walking around, heading from work out on the strange coastal salt harvesting pools, taking care of horses, sitting on their front stoops, and just generally looking vaguely interested in the group of biggins that have come into town. You met the captain of the guard, Captain Gawain Flowers, and we're given a bit of information that the ferry that will be taking you all across this lake to the next port of call, the village of Grossford, on the opposite, or the town. If this is a village, Grossforth is a town. A decent sized town at the crossroads on the other side of the lake. That particular ferry will be arriving in about 2 days. So one sleep, another day, and then it will arrive. You all headed into the only inn in town, Salty's, and also met with a half elf there, the owner and the operator of the pub and inn there, who was a bit overly curious and kept butting into your conversations. Good-naturedly, of course. And you have a bit more time left in this day. The Lady Rhiannon has gone to speak to the folk at the dock to learn a bit more about when the ferry might be coming back. And the rest of you are seated here in Salty's Tavern. What are you all doing, my wild walkers?
Did my big dog come in with me?
Did you want your big dog to come in with you?
I want him with me 100% of the time.
Then the big dog definitely did come in, and though no one is being rude about it, the very big dog is being stared at by many of the halflings who are just keeping a wide berth.
I will sit at one of the tables and just like coax Taran to put his head on my lap.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're gonna be here for a couple days. So what do we want to get, what shenanigans do we want to invoke upon these people?
Well, I'm always in the interest of money. You know, I'll usually make me some of that at all times.
Do you want to go mine some salt?
Yeah, well, I'm not looking.
Well, you said shenanigans, not honest work.
Yeah, I'm not looking to do much work for my money here. I'm looking to just find a nice.
I could pose as a dangerous beast and you could all slay me.
Ooh, that might work. We can do that.
Listen, I'm not.
Isn't that a bit dishonest? Juniper says very quietly.
I'm not gonna say
Who
it's not
said
a bad
anything
idea.
about honesty?
I don't think that trying to take the money from these good people is a good idea.
Good people. Oh, everybody's done something bad at some point in their life.
Well, of course, but how you live your life as a total is different from what you do once or twice.
Well, I'm totally an asshole, so I'm ready to steal.
Juniper looks visibly uncomfortable with this line of conversation.
Hilarious.
We have
I mean,
plenty
you
of
know-
gold.
You know me, I'm pretty much good for anything.
We have
guys.
plenty of money. Why don't we ask and see if there's something that we can assist with around town? Keep us busy before we leave.
Hey,
This doesn't sound anything like shenanigans.
to be clear, I've only got like 15 gold.
What is this place known for?
I give most
Salt.
of the gold I got before we left.
Well, that's it. Just salt.
Just salt. And the ferry.
Well, ooh, a ferry. I could become a ferry. I could get us a boat today.
There's only one. I'm pretty sure there's only one boat that goes across the water.
Then there's gonna be none boat.
You can't take the ferry.
Who said anything about sinking? I'm talking about stealing.
Where would you keep it? Are you gonna put it in the cart, Omenda?
I'm gonna put it out in the water
Or are you gonna hide it?
at sea.
We're not at the sea.
Truly so far inland.
This is a salt lake.
Yeah.
A lake made of salt. Technically made of
Well.
tears, but that's beside the point.
Tears. Oh, I don't know if I want to be here very long.
So, we'll find something simple to do for the next 2 days to keep us busy until we get out of here.
I agree to shenanigans, and this still doesn't sound like you. Sounds like you want us to find a job, Kyra.
I will grab Ewan around the like shoulder and pull him down like towards the like seat of the table between the two of us, like completely guarding us from the rest of the group. If you shut up, maybe we can have a conversation about getting into something more later. Stop bringing it up. And then I will sit back up.
What's my fucking passive perception again?
Not as high as my my sneakiness.
Passive perception is 15.
Oh god. It's not bad.
I have a +9 to stealth. So I think
I will make sure to remind all of you that in the previous session, at the end, as we were wrapping up, the innkeeper, Silberry, had told you all that there was a what they referred to as the village crazy lady,
Oh, right. Right.
who might have some more information about those islands that you can see popping up out in the lake.
Right.
And then, other than that,
do you want to go see if we can get some information out of the
Sounds like the perfect amount of shenanigans is talking to the village crazy lady
about what's in the lake?
about what's out there in that there lake.
And if things go sour, that's when I come in.
What are you planning? Should we be concerned having you around us for a length
Never.
of time?
Never. I'm just a frog.
I don't feel like you have our best interest at heart, there,
I have an
Ominda.
interest at heart.
Yeah, it's not ours. Keep yourself on the straight and narrow, my friend.
The bay and shifty little frogman.
Lil Frogman.
Don't we
I
need
will
to keep Amanda away from the salt lake when it dry him out.
exactly.
He seems to love the ocean, so I don't see the problem there.
But
That's
it's a
salt
higher.
water, though.
This is like
What the
stagnant.
fuck do you think tears are? You fucking numpty! You're fucking salty water, you idiot!
I don't understand why you're being so aggressive all of a sudden, and I don't particularly care for it.
Ewan, what?
I have shared with you my jerky.
I thanked you for the past week and a half.
Technically, you, me, and Rhiannon has.
That's a very...
And technically, you
Yes.
didn't even know how to smoke the meat to keep it safe.
This aggression will
I
not
know how to cook it
stand,
to make it
man.
delicious.
God damn it.
Either way,
Juniper is just leaning further and further back into her seat, playing with Bramble.
Yeah. It's like we're gonna be here a while, aren't we?
I want to go bother a crazy woman. Let's go.
Yep. Juniper immediately pops up trying to get away from the table.
Wonderful.
Amanda, hands in pockets, just leisurely just takes his way on there.
My weed
Oh,
is dead.
yeah. Also, Amanda, to clarify, did you? I don't remember. Did you come into town looking like yourself or looking like a halfling?
Looking like a halfling.
Okay.
Yeah, indeed.
Man, that's a slimy halfling.
Hey, man.
You are a
sometimes I like to be
slimy
wet.
little man. Did you know that?
You know,
Just imagining,
in my culture, that's a compliment.
I'm just imagining now the innkeeper is still listening to our conversation.
Yeah,
And
100%.
He now thinks Omenda's last name is Frogman.
Frogman.
Amanda Frogman.
Omenda Frogman.
Amanda Frogman.
Oh,
Omar
no.
Frogman, it's the perfect alias. No one was expecting.
Honestly, that ain't that bad. He says he's like, that's pretty good. He goes up for a low five for you. But
Yeah, he'll throw a hand down and smack it, and smack the hand.
yeah.
Get that away from me.
Get it away. I don't want it around me. Okay, let's go.
All right. You all exit the Salty's inn and pub. Back out into the afternoon streets here. Actually, it's right at about noon. You guys arrived pretty early in the day. It's right at about noon, and the village is bustling with halflings. Halflings going back and forth. The market here doesn't look particularly worthwhile unless you're specifically looking for fishing gear or like boat tackle or things like that. There's like a tchotchkes store, which is like some middle-aged halfling woman's shiny rocks that she's braided into jewelry and stuff like that. Yes, Amanda.
You said there's places you can get like fishing equipment and stuff, right?
Sure, yeah,
Um,
easily.
I would like to see if there's a spot where I can get like a harpoon, like an underwater kind of deal.
Yeah, for sure. Why don't you go ahead and make a perception or investigation check for me?
Perception, I will do. That's a 5 on the die for 10.
For 10 of you, perception. You find a spot where there's they're selling like nets and stuff. You see, they have a 3-pronged spear, a trident-like design, and then you see a couple of for all intents and purposes, mechanically in game, they would be considered a javelin, but
Right.
they are harpoon.
Okay.
They're very simple designs. It's just kind of a long metal rod with just a little barb at the end of it, where it would once entering into the flesh of a fish would make it so it wouldn't pull out easily. It would get
Right.
caught inside.
I'll walk up to the shopkeep, wherever the shopkeep is at, and I'll be
Yeah.
like, I'll give you, let's say, I'll give you a silver for that harpoon over there.
See, it's this just really old halfling man with a big, long white beard. He just turns. He says, "What? What do you want?"
You see that over there? That nice harpoon?
Yeah, you want a harpoon?
Yeah, I'll give you this here piece for it. As he kind of holds it up.
Oh, and you see he reaches out and he looks at the silver. He takes it in his hand and he gives it a little bite with his very few teeth that he has.
Yeah.
Just a little. He looks at it. He says, "Silver is a silver. I'm gonna need one more of these though.
One more?
2 silver for the harpoon."
Well, yeah, I could do that. Here, and I'll toss him that second silver.
Thank you very much. And he takes the other silver, does the same routine where he bites it and looks at it, and he puts it in a little pouch, and he slides the harpoon over to you, and he says, "If you're going out onto the lake, just so you know, you might want to buy more than one. Usually people tends to throw them, and then if you throw it and you lose it, then you're shit out of luck."
I actually had a question for you. Does this, as I'm probably holding it now at this point, does this little
Yeah.
harpoon thing have like a little hole at the other end to fit like a rope through?
Actually, yes, it does.
Well, you see, sir, I typically do my harpooning underwater. So I typically attach a rope to it so I can pull it back to me. So I think I'll be all right with just the one.
Well, how do you like that? That's a really smart way of doing things. We don't like swimming much here. Halflings don't swim a lot.
Yeah, well, I came
Might
from
get eaten by a pelican.
I come from
Exactly. You never know when the pelicans are gonna come. They'll swoop you right up. There's one I've seen. He's as large as a horse. He is.
Oh,
If anyone like looks at Kyra, she
Do I
looks
believe
like
him?
hungry,
Yeah.
thinking about a bird that large.
Do I
you think?
do I
there's some-
believe him that he's
True.
seen a bird
Make
that
an
large, or is
insight
he?
check.
Yeah, is this some tall tale
whoever
stuff?
whoever would like to can make an insight check for that.
I'll do that too. I'll do
Oh
that.
damn it! 13.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that's a nat one.
Oh,
Paul,
yeah.
smoke on your dice, bud.
That's true. I do need to do that.
Smoke 'em up.
What'd you get you in a 13? 100%. His man is lived here for a long time, and he tells fishing stories. And fishing stories are notorious for being long-winded and over-exaggerated. Now, you don't think he's lying that there's pelicans out there, and some halflings, especially halfling children, are certainly small enough that a pelican could try to take off with one of them. It would have a hard time taking off with a full-grown adult halfling.
Oy.
Sounds like a lot of bird to handle.
Oh, it's amazing. It's a giant. He's out there. Oh, Pleppo.
Oh,
Wait,
Pleppo, is there?
The giant pelican's name is Pleppo.
Yeah, that's what I call him.
Is there some
Amazing.
kind of? Do you have
That's
some
not-
kind of bounty out for this pelican's head, there, sir?
Oh, are you looking to make a little extra coin, are you? Well,
As always.
if you find a pelican of abnormal size with one eye all gouged out of the side of his head, yeah, sure, I'll give you 10 gold if you kill him.
10. All right.
Do we
I'll
have to
take you up
bring
on
back the whole bird?
You just gotta bring back the head.
Perfect.
Wolfalon just mutters to himself, "It's bad luck to kill a seabird."
If you don't want to take its head, you can just take one of its feet. It'll be real big. I'll know which one it is.
I fucking can't.
Well, you're gonna be seeing
One
some
of
more
its
of me here. What's your name, good sir?
Oh, I'm Old Man McGillicuddy.
Yeah, I bet you fucking are, man.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Somebody who's got an interest in fishing.
Oh, indeed. I typically survive off of fish, but I'll see you when I come back with that pelican head, and I'm gonna go.
Well, all right. I'll remember you. Come back when you. And he just keeps talking as you walk off into the distance.
Kyle, can you say the name again for me? I was so reeling that I
This
I
is
couldn't.
this is Old Man McGillicuddy.
McGillicuddy, thank you.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna ask his name, but then you gave him a little thing, and I was like, all right, well, now I gotta know who I'm talking to.
Listen, sometimes you ask me to come up with a shopkeep on the spot, and I just have to roll with it.
I just loved it. Thank you.
Sometimes you get Old Man McGillicuddy, sometimes you get the man who sells all of the explosive things.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can go ahead and just toss a javelin into your equipment there, Paul. Rename it to a harpoon. This is not a. This counts as a simple weapon in this instance. If you roll a natural 1 while fighting with this, because this is meant to be a fishing tool, not necessarily a fighting tool. If you use it while you're fighting, if you roll a nat 1, there will be a percentage roll to see if it breaks.
Oh yeah, 100%. If I lose it with the throw or whatever.
Yeah. All right. So that's done. You guys are on the docks, which seems to make up a decent chunk of this village, and you can see to that, like, the docks stretch out a ways over, like, where you presume the tide of this lake kind of comes up to, but they stretch a pretty long way across, like, salty muck before it actually gets to water, because you can see out to either side of you. So it's like a dock on stilts, and it's not always over water. But you can see the salt harvesting pools that are off to either side here. But yeah, what are you guys up to?
I'm gonna find this crazy woman.
Okay.
Bad idea.
How are you going about this? Are you just looking for somebody that could be an old crazy woman?
Well,
are you asking people?
I'm gonna look at my Hound of Hell.
Oh.
And just be like, "Hey boy, do you want to go on a task for me?" Why don't you do a little perimeter around this town and see if you can find anyone that stands out for me?
Go ahead and make an animal handling check for me. You may use charisma in place of wisdom for this role.
Hot.
Riz.
Where's that check? Oh, there it is. I'm dumb. It's in alphabetical order, Valerie.
Correct.
$22.
22. Taran looks at you, kind of like looks slightly away and does a little sneeze thing. Puts his nose up into the air and sniffs, and then in true Sighthound fashion, truly gallops away amongst a sea of halflings, and just kind of runs off.
People are like, oh.
This is the fun part. And I will try to blend in as much as possible with the sea of halflings and follow the dog.
Juniper's
Yeah.
be following Kyra.
Yeah. You guys, although being rather large individuals, are fully people. And as such, the crowds of halflings around you treat you as such. They do not get out of your way as much as they do for the galloping dog that truly just barrels through, jumping over halflings as often as dodging around them.
I can ride the dog.
It's like one of those videos of them jumping over the grass.
Yeah.
It's probably about 2 to 3 minutes later, Kyra, as you and your companions are kind of looking through docks. You do see over towards the end of the dock, Lady Rhiannon in conversation with an older male halfling, but who's dressed in rather fine clothes, and they're just having a kind of spirited conversation. They're not shouting at each other, but they're talking not quietly. It's just you can't hear exactly what they're saying over the din of other halflings about you. But you do crystal clear hear coming from away down on the other side of the docks, as your hound, it seems, has espied something.
I will go to my bestest boy.
Yeah. You guys
Got.
creep on through the Yes, Omenda.
You can continue with this, but like I'm gonna want to like go and see if I can like sneak and listen to what they're saying over there. Do
You
like
wanna-
Assassin's Creed style, where I
You would
was
like
hiding in the
to
crowd.
break off from the group and go talk to, or go see what's going on with Lady Rhiannon?
Yeah, go eavesdrop. Eavesdrop.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you go ahead and make a stealth check for me?
I can indeed. Do I have advantage since I am a halfling looking person?
Yes. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was also confused for a second.
Amazing.
Oh, Menda.
Ooh, okay, that's better. So that's 18.
18. Yeah. You slink off into the group. Does anybody have a passive perception of over 18?
No.
17.
Okay.
That's pretty close.
You sneak off, and your companions don't even notice. We'll come back to you in a bit,
Yeah.
Omenda. The rest of you creep on through until eventually you discover, being given a wide berth by many people here in the street, you see a large sight hound just sort of sitting back on his haunches, staring down at an ancient woman who is just seated in a rocking chair right next to the water, on the dock, just like creaking back and forth. Does not seem to notice the dog, just kind of sitting there rocking back and forth as this dog sits directly next to her with its face pointed down looking at her menacingly.
I will whistle and call Taryn back to me. Yes, to
Ira, I think your dog is frightening the halflings.
No,
That sounds like a problem for the halflings.
He's fine. He's a sweetheart. He wouldn't harm her. He wouldn't hurt a fly, which is a very much of a lie. That is a lie. Do not believe her.
Do I believe her?
Make an insight check.
Oh no.
It's like,
Kyra, how hard are you trying to hide this?
She's very nonchalant about it, so I think it would be a higher deception roll.
that's a 16.
That's a 16.
Well,
there,
that's a 1.
Uh,
Like a nat one? Oof.
Ophalon, you hear Kyra say, "You wouldn't hurt a fly." And you look at this dog that truly is drooling, and is, regardless of anything else, is clearly a hunting dog. And everything that moves, it just swivels its head to look at and tracks it and swivels its head to the next thing. This is a predator. A trained predator. Yes, it is true, but it is a predator nonetheless.
Kyra, it's a real nice looking dog. But you say that, but every time I look at it, I'm concerned that I have jerky in my bag. And I'm afraid of what your dog might do to get that jerky. And I don't mean it's gonna try and hump me in the leg.
I like pause. And
Ophalon,
just like
how's that any different from me?
just full like
You haven't tried to
Annabelle.
hump me in the leg yet.
She'll like
What I meant before that part.
she'll like pause and go full Annabelle doll style and just go. Good thing he doesn't like goats.
I'm not a goat. Also, that's vaguely racist. And again, like, all of this unnecessary hostility from you guys today. Did someone put fucking black tar in your coffee or something? Like,
I take
I
offense
don't
to
know.
that.
I don't know what's going on.
I take offense to that. I'm not being hostile to anybody.
That's fair. She gets a pass. She's cool.
Oh, Juniper always gets a pass. She's perfect.
You tried to tell me salt water and tears were a different thing. I'm still kind of mad about that.
I'm not perfect.
Crazy lady.
This woman that is seated in this chair, as all of you have just sort of waltzed up around where she's sitting. She's sitting in this rocking chair. She has slightly pointed ears, which may belie a sort of a halfling or at least some sort of part fae ancestry, but she's so old. Just the wrinkles on her face have wrinkles. She's very small, but she doesn't have the general look of a halfling, but she would be about the size of one where she's standing. It's kind of a whole thing. She has a nest of hair that is tied back with what looks to be an actual bird's nest kind of tucked back in there somewhere. And she's just sitting there, creaking in her chair, looking out at the water.
Alright, Juniper, it's your turn.
But
You're like the old lady whisperer, so go do your old lady whispering.
Now, you whispered King Mathenway, and you didn't even know it was him. I think you're the old person whisperer.
I was just being nice.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
do that
that's-
now.
That's what we mean. I'm clearly an affront to most things people hold dear.
Yeah, I can.
Half the things that come out of my mouth seem to piss off people, so I go for it.
Juniper just takes a minute because she just flabbergasted. What do you even want me to talk to her about?
Just go talk to her. She's crazy. She'll just start talking. That's just what they do.
I need somewhere to start.
Ask her about what's out on the lake,
Yeah.
about the islands.
All right.
Godspeed.
Juniper approaches the old lady. Hi. Excuse me.
She stops, creaking back and forth in the chair, and slowly turns her wrinkled face towards you. What do you want?
My companions and I are passing through town, and we couldn't help notice the islands in the lake. In one of the other townsfolk mentioned that you might know something about them.
Oh, you're looking at the daughters, are you? Well, there. She points way out, and you see she's actually facing basically the path that's directly through the center of the two islands. She's like facing exactly in that direction in her chair, and she points out in that direction. She says, "The dangers of that island, those islands, and that lake are untold. But they are told because I tell people every chance I get. You beware, girl. Beware if you're going out into the water there, or you'll find yourselves sucked up into the other world, away from all of your family and friends forevermore, never to return. Yes, sure will."
Well, that's ominous as fuck.
Don't be rude. That's very foul mouth that you have there, boy.
Yeah, Ophalon, jeez. Respect your elders.
Okay. God,
Why on?
add a character. What does she mean by other world?
The other world, so in the realm of Bruen, the material plane is the world you were on. It is Bruen. Instead of the Feywild, there is the Wilder Land, and then the other world is another realm that is kind of over top of both of them as well. But the other world is the realm of the spirits. All things that have a soul, their souls go to the other world when they die. That's it's the underworld from Greek mythology. All souls go there. It is the place that souls go to.
Gotcha. Oh. Well then.
Yeah, that's not a friendly looking dog.
He's just the best boy.
He's an adorable dog. What are you talking about? Look at how his tail's moving. He's totally at ease.
Dog?
And then just,
What dog?
The big dog, right here.
What? The big dog? See, she turns and looks at you, Ophalon. Well, it's very rude to yourself, sweetie. You're hairy, but you're not a dog. Don't
Ophalon
put yourself down like that.
Ophalon points. The dog.
See, she like follows your finger. She's like, "What? Oh! Look at the dog. Look at the precious boy." And you see she hops out of her chair and goes up and just starts scratching the belly of this dog, who just is looking down, looks at you, Kyra. The ears go back a little bit and the face relaxes and the dog just starts panting.
See, he's a perfect boy.
Yeah, I don't know what you're so concerned about, guys.
Not
That's
a, not a
obviously...
single flaw. Perfect.
Yes, he's
I will
just
join
a
her in
good
petting the
boy.
dog.
Isn't he? Isn't he? Oh, so beautiful. Very good, very good.
I don't know
What?
what's happening anymore.
Kyra, did you have any other questions about the islands? And then Juniper quickly retreats.
Yeah.
Damn it. So you say it's a means of getting into the underworld, or the overworld, the other world. I can speak. I'm not that high.
Another way? No! The only way to truly get there is by, well, you know,
Death.
dying. But there are portals there. Plenty of folk have come through this town. Those islands, those are the daughters of Manannan. There you see, and she points out the island that is more to the southern end, or I'm sorry, the southwestern end. She says, that there is Neve. Neve is what she says. For the purposes of putting it, because I'm just such a nerd for spelling and things, Neve is spelled Niamh. It's an Irish word or name, and it's one of those. They have strange letter combinations. And then she points to the other, slightly larger island, and that one there is Clina. And Clina is spelled Cliodh or Dnha. Clina. She points to the island. The first one, Neve, that she points out is you can see through the clouds here above the plains. There is like a column of sunlight that is coming down onto this smaller island comparatively, and the other island is a bit larger but is firmly in the shadow of the clouds. And she points to both of them out there. Those islands, it is said that long ago, the old man of the ocean dove into the sea and dug for miles and miles right in the center of this lake. And the earth that he moved out of the way became the two islands, as he dug and dug until he found the ocean. And as the water drained from the mainland, the lower plains here of the island were shown once again to the light of the sun. And that is how the whole southern part of the island came to be. And those islands is all the dirt and rock and everything that he pushed behind him as he dug. Plenty of treasure hunters going out there, looking for jewels and gems, but none of them ever return. Thinking they're all high and mighty to steal from the very daughters of Manannan himself. A foolish thought, a foolish thought.
Alright. So now you're gonna say that there's something spooky about them, right? Aside from, in connection to the...
Cursed!
Yeah, there we go.
Terribly cursed.
Why are they cursed? That's just when you're gonna say it's something bad.
Welcome real quick.
Oh, terribly cursed. Terribly cursed. A lot of them think, they're being sucked into the other world, or into the wilder land. And that might be true. But usually those folks, what ends up in those places, finds their way back out eventually, if they're not meant to be there. No, something's keeping folk there. The daughters of Manannan, Clina and Neve. The islands were named for him. And so, a bit of their power resides there. Each of them set to guard a relic by their father. Clina of the golden, Neve of the golden hair, and Clina the queen of the banshees. Each asked by their father to guard a relic, and each jealously wanting the other's artifact. Of course, that's just what my grandma told me, and her grandmother told her. I've not been out there, but I've seen a lot of folk go and ne'er come back.
Well, each scary story that our parents tell us before bed to keep us in line has a little bit of truth to it. Is there anything in the lake? Aside from the two daughters.
You see, her face darkens a bit. She looks up at you. She says, "Surely the tale of a couple of haunted islands is enough to make anyone wary to go wandering about. But I'll tell you this, girl. It don't matter if you're on that fancy ferry when it comes to take you away from this place, likely ne'er to return. It doesn't matter if you're walking along the bank. It doesn't matter if you're going for a swim. Once the sun goes down in the hills, if you see a horse in the distance with a rider, and it won't look like a normal rider, it'll be jutting out to the center of the horse's back. Then you run, girl. For the Nukkalevi takes no prisoners."
Didn't we fight one of those before?
No.
No, dude, we
No,
fought a
that's right.
Kelpie.
That's right. That was a Kelpie.
Right.
You good, Kyra?
Does Juniper know what that is?
Make a... Truly, this could be history, nature, or religion. There will be different answers for each.
Cool. All of those are intelligent rolls. I guess I'm going to do a history check.
Okay.
See what happens. Ooh, okay, yeah, that's only an 8.
Yeah, you've not heard of such a thing before. Although, this woman has an air of, you know, she's been here a long time. She had this kind of exuberance and like coyness to her voice as she was talking about the islands and how they might be haunted and how there's a queen of the banshees on one of them. She got very serious when she talked about the Nukkalevi, whatever that may be.
More quietly to Kyra. Kyra, do you know what that is?
Am I allowed to know what this is?
I'm gonna have you also make for me a either religion, nature, or history check, because of your kind of backstoryness of reading a lot of stories and lore and stuff like that. I'm gonna let you have advantage on the roll.
I think I need to smoke on those new dice.
Couldn't hurt.
Here's some smoke.
Thanks, appreciate you.
I mean, you need to turn it on, but
22.
22. there's a lot of stories, Kyra, of water horses. The Kelpie that you guys had fought at one point is one of the more common types of water horse. And also one of the more malevolent. The Nukkalevi is spoken of in the same sorts of tales. But it is not simply children or villagers going and young maidens going missing. Nukkalevis are spoken of in tales of entire villages being demolished due to plague, crops dying in famine, just a true... It's a bad omen more than it is anything else. But they are spoken of rarely, and they are spoken of with great fear. And the only descriptions even that you have heard are not much more than what this lady has given you. A large, skinless horse with the torso of a man jutting up from the center of the back. Sometimes wielding a sword, sometimes a great threshing scythe, other times wielding nothing at all. But yeah, that's kind of what you've heard.
It's like a prophecy of like destined death type shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm like pale.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those stories that you don't even know the name of. Well, I don't see that happening anytime soon, so we should be fine.
Right, I'm sure you'll be fine. Everything's fine. No one has seen or spoken of seeing such a thing in quite some time. Nothing to be worried about. Nothing at all. But you see she turns and looks at all of you now, kind of squinting through the wrinkles around her eyes. She says, "You all look like strapping young folk. All four of you. So, you looking to make a little coin?"
Wait, where the hell's Omenda?
Where's Ominda?
Where is Omenda? We're going to find out in just a minute. I have to go do something real quick. I will be right back, and we
Okay.
will find out exactly what's happening.
All right.
I will pause the recording.
You have snuck off to see what is going on with the lady Rhiannon, the conversation that she's having.
Yeah.
You rolled an 18 stealth.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
As you creep up, and you are wanting to listen in on the conversation that is being had.
Yeah. The way that I would kind of like to do it, like if there's like anywhere, like any like public benches or like any kind of short fencing to like lean on to be inconspicuous,
Mm-hmm.
I would do so.
Understood. You get yourself in a position where you're hoping to be able to listen in, and I'm going to ask you to make a perception check for me.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's see. Uh, 11.
11's okay. You start listening in partway through a conversation, you see this slightly portly halfling man in a burgundy doublet, sort of somewhat fancy clothes, although still well worn, it looks like. Definitely mended at home.
Right.
He's got a mop of kind of shaggy, dark red hair, and just a simple curled mustache. And you do see that he also has like a handkerchief tucked into his pocket. He looks rather stately, and he's sitting there having a conversation. You see, he says, I'm sorry, I don't know exactly what it is you want me to do about that, my lady. If you are who you say you are, then you've got a better chance of getting word to that ferry to get it to come back a day early than I do. About best I can do for you is I can send a pigeon off, but he's gonna go to Grossfirth. So I don't know, if it misses the ferry, it misses the ferry. I don't know what it is you want me to do. And you see the Lady Rhiannon kind of rolls her eyes a bit, and she's saying, "Oh, come on! You're telling me you don't have any way of communicating with the fairy? Not one, not even not a shell that you've been given from the banks of the ocean? It's like, I don't know what world you live in, Marm, where you think that magical items are just falling off of trees or being pulled out of random bags on the side of the street, but I don't have nothing, no way of doing that. I've got a pigeon that can fly somewhat fast, but is still gonna take about 2 days to get across to the other side."
Can I truth check this guy? Insight the
Yeah,
dude?
make an insight check.
Oh, it's so low. 6. Jesus.
He seems very put out.
Right.
He's not offended by anything that she's saying to him. He's just exasperated because you get the sense he feels like this isn't his job.
Okay. Continue, yeah.
You see Lady Rhiannon just sighs, and she says, "Fine, well, I suppose we'll just have to wait until it gets here." It's like, yes, wait until it gets here. If you like, we'll make sure the rooms for you and your traveling companions are taken care of. It's no. She says, no, it's fine. It's not that we don't want to pay our way. It's just we're in a bit of a hurry. And he says, I understand, Marm. And if you've got magic about you or your traveling companions, I'm sure that the old captain of the ferry, Captain Orhand, I'm sure he wouldn't begrudge any attempts to make the ferry go faster. But from here, sadly, neither you nor I can do anything about that. Lady Rhiannon just nods and she says, "Very well, very well. Well, thank you for your time, Mayor. I will, I'll see you when I see you." And she just hikes her bow over her shoulder. You see she makes the sound, and Omenda, from nearby to where you are, you see the shimmering form of a spectral horse just kind of begin to follow her off through the crowd.
I'll kind of like move past on the opposite side of the horse so that way the guy doesn't see me. I'm trying to decide whether or not I should follow her or go back to the group. I don't know if she's doing anything.
Why is it always a spooky horse?
It is always a spooky horse.
Always a spooky horse.
The Celts had a lot of myths about spooky horses.
They had a lot of horses, man. I'm gonna follow Lady Rhiannon and see where she goes.
Okay.
Let me look at my spells really quick because I do want to see. I think I have a way.
It's because
to, like,
horses are
summon them.
innocuous, and there's a lot of shapeshifters in Celtic lore too.
Also true.
You guys know about not deer?
Yeah, they're not deer.
Sir-
No.
Cervids are innocuous. People trust them inherently.
Yeah, I don't really have a way to contact anybody, so I'm just gonna go on my own with nobody knowing where I went.
Okay. You follow Lady Rhiannon through the town. She heads for the inn, heads inside. You see, as she enters the building, the ethereal form of Epona, her personal mount, kind of dissipates and no longer seems to be in any way corporeal, and just is practically invisible. She goes in, she sits down, she has a conversation briefly with Silberry, the person in charge here at the pub. She has a drink, and she just kind of sits at the bar for a while.
God damn. He mutters under his breath. Damn.
Fucking hell.
Damn well-to-do people. Well, alrighty. And he just turn right back around and go try to see if he can find the group again.
Okay.
And then
Amanda, you do find the group heading back down towards where you also had heard the sound of a dog howling earlier. You just kind of head in that direction, and you see your companions in conversation with a tremendously old woman who is dwarfed by almost every person that stands around her and animal. And as you're approaching, you see Ewan say, "Wait a minute, where's Omenda?"
I'm gonna keep walking 10 feet and then like see if they notice me in my halfling forms in the corner.
As I ask that and start looking around for Omenda, do I see a individual with a feathered cap anywhere?
Make a perception check.
21.
You do, in fact, see an individual kind of sauntering up towards you guys with a feather in his cap.
I know that cocky fucking gate anywhere.
Huh?
I found him, guys.
What you mean? I've been here the whole time.
Don't lie.
All right. Whatever.
Don't try it. It's not gonna work. Don't waste your breath. Anyway.
Or was that about making it a coin?
What did you want us to do to make some pieces?
Well, you all look like folk what can handle yourselves. My mother told me tales of those islands far back as I can remember. And her mother told her those same stories. I would pay good money to anyone that'd bring me one of the artifacts from those islands, and I would pay better money for anyone that'd bring back both. Or confirmation that they don't exist.
Didn't you just tell us how haunted these islands were?
Oh,
Like-
tremendously haunted. tremendously haunted. You'll probably not come back, but
We've already beat up ghosts, Kyra, it's fine.
exactly. Think of the adventure.
What did you just sign us up to? You talking about might not come back.
Oh, just stories of cursed islands and demonic water horse things and the sea. Or salty lakes too, I guess.
I also don't
Well,
appreciate that
if-
I've just
if-
been signed up for this.
We have not signed up for anything. We have not agreed to anything. If we are in the neighborhood of finding these ancient relics, and
yeah, I
happen
know
to
that
decide
means.
to bring them back to you, perhaps we will do such things. But don't bet on it.
I'll lend you a boat.
Oh, well, I think I can.
No,
I'll do it for you.
Amanda.
Yeah. Where's the boat at?
No, I'm. That sounds good. I was trying to figure out how to swim across the lake. That on boat sounds much easier.
And I know how to pilot boats. I'm a good sea captain.
She just said how haunted the islands were.
And how like
Can we
normal
have-
people
wait,
like
no, wait, stop.
kids
Can
and stuff don't come back.
This is why it's best your captain
be
doesn't know,
fair,
so he goes into there
We're
unaware.
only assuming the islands are haunted. It's just mostly that the people didn't come back. The haunted part is just part of the story to make the ambiance a bit more fun,
You
as
know,
it were.
Well, what
Out
are
on the
these
sea.
supposed artifacts?
Oh,
oh yes.
well, of course. I wouldn't send you off without giving you a bit of information. She points towards the smaller of the two islands. She says, Neva the Golden Hair is said to guard what's known in the story. He says, the Silver Bough, a glittering silver branch bedecked in golden apples. And her sister over there, Kleena, she points to the larger island that's kind of in the darker shadows of the day. She says, Kleena is said to guard the Goblet of Truth. A very powerful artifact. It's said that anyone that drinks from the Goblet of Truth cannot tell a lie.
And why should we bring them back to you?
Why wouldn't we just keep those? They sound pretty awesome.
And you see, she says, because of this. And you see, she turns
Okay.
around and, like, reaches under the deck of this little, like, rickety house that is built right up alongside the dock. She, like, reaches underneath, pulls out a chest, flicks it open, and it is piled with gold.
Ooh.
Because all I really want is confirmation of whether they exist or not. If you bring that to me, I'll pay you.
Well,
If you bring them both back, I'll pay you more. And if you let me keep them, I'll pay you even more than that. But if you want to keep
I
them for
see.
yourselves, I understand.
And you won't send anyone after us to come and get the items, right?
I'll come after you. I'll follow you to the ends of the earth until I beat it out of your hands with me stick.
You're
Right.
still throwing in that boat, right?
Borrowing the boat, Amanda. Eyes on the prize, buddy.
Alright, maybe it would be a little bit fun. Just a little bit.
That's
Sounds
the
like the
spirit.
kind of shenanigans we're known for at this point.
It does sound a bit like the shenanigans that we have come to find ourselves in on a regular basis.
Apparently quite adept with this whole evil horse thing.
Let's hope
No,
this
we're
time
not
I don't
fighting
almost
that.
die.
I don't want to fight an omen of death. I don't want to do that.
Oh, it
Wait,
sounds like a
what?
bad idea.
Let's just hope we don't see that one.
That's why we're gonna go tomorrow. and spend today preparing to go do that tomorrow.
Okay.
Because, she said once the sun sets, if you see a horse out on the water with a man growing out of its center, that's to avoid. So we don't have to worry about it when the sun's up.
Right,
I
so
have
leave
confidence in
tomorrow
that.
when the sun rises.
Yes.
Yes. Cool. Well, let's go see if we can start another fighting ring with just the three of you this time.
You see, the woman looks at you and says, "Tomorrow it is. If you come down to the docks, I have a lad, strapping young man. He's got a boat. He'll help you out."
Cool. That will make it at least a little bit less of a headache.
Well, isn't this amazing, guys? We've got an adventure to fill our time with until that fairy shows up.
What was that second island item called again?
The Goblet of Truth.
Yep.
Thank you.
But I will head back towards the inn, I suppose.
Wonderful.
Do you guys actually want to camp on the lake shore? Or can we sleep in actual beds tonight?
No, we can sleep in actual... I don't really get the whole sleeping thing for you guys, but you can... Fuck! You can sleep in the bed if you want to.
Well, you don't actually have to sleep, so I understand.
Yeah, I was just saying I'm gonna be going and... Well, now that we have a mission to do it tomorrow, I'm less inclined to go night swimming at this point.
Get into a little bit of mischief in the middle of the night.
Well, if you are up for that mischief, you just hit me up in my room. I need water anyway. And the elementals
What?
just
Now we're
go up.
now we're all a little shy.
I'm ready to go now. If y'all want to go now, I'm
We are not
going
going
on my own
across the
tonight.
lake. She literally just said that there is an omen of destined death that we might see while we're out doing shenanigans in the middle of the night. And I don't want to see that.
Well, you see, I wasn't there for that. So.
I don't know if she meant this particular body of water. I think it just meant any time you're out on, like, salt water, is what she was saying.
So we'll just not... Anyway. It's already halfway through the day. We'll just stay on shore until tomorrow. Give us a whole day to find the artifacts, instead of just a half a day. Is that good for everyone?
Yeah, that works for me. I'll find something to do in the meantime.
Yeah, I suppose.
Alright.
I guess we can wait.
I don't particularly want to get left behind here in the village by myself, so
You could stay and be our cover. So that Rhiannon doesn't start getting wondering where we are heading off to.
maybe we
But
should
why don't we just...
tell her?
I'm with Juniper on this one,
Did we already start going back towards the inn?
Yeah.
presumably.
Well, she's already over there. We can just go let her know when we hit the.
We'll
hit the
go.
inn.
We'll go. Pass it by. I don't think she'd approve of us going treasury hunting.
She may want to come with us to make sure that we're safe.
We
Or
don't
she
need
may
a
not,
babysitter.
so we die.
How can you in two different breaths talk about how she's gonna babysit us, and then tell us we don't need a babysitter and she's not our babysitter? You ought to pick one, Kyra. It doesn't matter.
Fine, we'll tell her. Stop nagging me about it.
And since this is your guys' idea, you can tell her
Ah.
before you decide to throw me under the bus again. Under the horse again.
Alright. I will use my charisma. to the best of my abilities.
You can do it.
Y'all are wild.
Yeah,
You
let's
guys-
go back to the inn.
You guys head back to Salty's Inn and Tavern.
Yep. Right on. back to
Inside?
Salty Spittoon.
You see Lady Rhiannon seated at a table, enjoying a glass of some form of libation. She gives you all a little wave as you enter. And as you all approach, she says, "Unfortunately, a bit of bad news. We are, in fact, stuck here until the ferry returns. Although, when we get onto the ferry to head across, if we have anything we can do that might make it go a little faster, perhaps we can try that out. But, unless, of course, you all want to walk around the edge of the lake for the next few days."
Well, luckily, we actually have a bit of a job for ourselves to do in the time that we have to spend before the ferry gets here.
Oh, wonderful.
So,
Keeping yourselves busy.
yeah, we're not very good at being idle for long, so. And we just got out of Deus Undad and we were finally back on the road and now we're in the city again. It's a whole thing.
Sure. She like looks around at everything. It's like, this isn't. I understand if you've only really been to one city. This isn't a city. This is this is barely even a township.
I mean, we're like not in the plains or the wilds.
I suppose that's fair. Although
Or,
a lot less walls here, and I feel a bit more at home. That's true, but it's just weird to see so many people just kind of walking around, not worried about the fact that they don't have a wall.
Wars are overrated.
Well, I agree. I tend to agree, but usually folk, particularly small folk like this, it's just new. It's different. We passed
Maybe-
through here on our way down, but we didn't stop for very long.
perhaps they have a land spirit that keeps them safe.
Now that's very possible.
They
Or
mine
maybe
the
something out in
salt,
the
so it's
water.
possible that it's they
Ooh.
just pay
Salt
homage to it and
elemental,
whatnot.
salt
Yeah,
spirit. Interesting.
that'd be fun.
That would be fun. Well, what are you all planning on doing to keep yourselves busy, eh?
We were given a task by a very lovely and informative woman. Just a doll, really. To perhaps go and investigate the Daughters of Manannan.
See, she's like in the middle of drinking from her cup, and she. I'm sorry. What? What is your?
We're
What?
just gonna go have a peek.
You're going to go have a peek.
Yeah.
Just take a little look.
On the right. Oh, for
She's got a boat for us. We're just gonna go have a little peek, see what it's all
Right.
about.
Okay. Here you are. You see, she like internally struggles with what she's trying to say, and then she just sighs. And she says, "Look, far be it from me to tell you lovely folk what to do and what not to do. If you want to go cavorting around those islands, I can't stop you. 2 provisos. Don't fucking miss the ferry. Because if I have to come looking for you, well, it's more days for the 2 of you." And she points at Ophalon and Juniper, and she just says, "Just be careful, and do remember, try not to die. You haven't gotten your shadows back. And we're not entirely sure what might happen. But I don't think you're going to find yourself in the other world if you die without your shadow.
We'll be careful.
Right.
Where would we go if we die without our shadows?
Your soul will be eviscerated.
You'll end up as you'll still end up as part of the Court of Whispers, but it'll be weirder, probably.
Just leveling a very annoyed look at the rest of the group. Why are we doing this again?
Because it's going to be fun.
It's something to do.
You're doing this because it's something wonderful.
I said I'm
Three
doing it
different
because it's
answers.
fun.
Right,
I said for money.
for sure. Look, if you head
I don't know
over
if this
there,
group is gonna make it.
if you find yourselves on those islands, please just remember two things. Be polite and don't trust everything you're told. Alright?
Although there is the possibility, given the fact that it is a possible portal to the other world, we could accidentally slip into it. So maybe it's not the best idea for us to go there.
They're not a portal to the other world. They're a portal to the Wilder Land. Both
I
of them.
don't know how that's better.
It's not.
That's fine.
It's not!
She
The
just
fuck's
kind
about
of,
the same amount.
she just looks at you, Kyra, she says, "It's not. Except," and she points at the bow on your back. It's just like, except you don't have a connection to anyone in the Wilder Land. You do have connection to somebody in the other world. Sorry about that. So just keep that in mind.
Wait, do you mean that I won't have any magic if I go to the...
No,
Wilder
I
Land?
didn't say that. I said if it was a portal to the other world, you're right. You might have some allies on that side. You're not going to the other world. You're going to two very different courts in the Wilder Land.
Christ.
Well, this one, and I will point to Juniper, technically is connected to the Wilder Land. So...
She'll probably be fine. I'm worried
Probably?
about the rest of you.
Why would I probably be fine?
Actually, I should say, and she points at Ewan as well. She says, those two will probably be fine.
I was gonna say,
Actually,
odds are
like,
good. I'm not even from
You see,
here.
she takes like a step back, and you see that Lady Rhiannon, despite her divine heritage, has had a few, and is a little tipsy. And she looks at all of you, and she says,
She's being harassed by a bunch of teenagers.
and then looks at all of you, and then looks at Ophalon. Wait, you're an Urish. 3 of you will probably be fine. You know what? Just go. It's fine.
You're not inspiring a lot of confidence here, Lady Rhiannon. I'm gonna
Listen,
be
this
perfectly
is
honest.
your choice. I have to get... Look, here's the deal. If you miss the ferry, I will do you a solid, and I will come and find you and get you out of there.
Solid.
However, if it puts us significantly far behind, I may have to ride ahead because I have to let my father know about the Court of Whispers things before the Court of Whispers themselves arrives back in the forest.
That's fair.
So, just keep that in mind. If we fall too far behind, I will have to leave. So that's just...
I mean, we could always go and look for the artifacts on our way back from...
You have a day! And if it's what you would like to spend your day doing, I'm not trying to dissuade you.
I really
letting
can't
you
think
know.
anything better to do.
I'm just letting you know that if
Let's
we
do
fall
that, I'm gonna
significantly
end up in
fall
the
behind,
brig.
and I don't feel bad about leaving you, having to leave you two because you all have proven yourselves very capable already. You killed some hill giants. I think you can handle most of what's out here, at least this side of the mountain. So you're doing all right. I trust in you. Just don't miss the ferry, please. Or if you do miss the ferry, figure out another fucking way to get across quickly. All right?
All right.
Wonderful.
I'm going to regret this.
Why? This is a fantastic decision.
I don't know about that. But on the plus side, if we get lost,
What do
in
you
the
think
wild-
those
Wild.
fruits?
Y'all are just a bunch of city folk who are scared of being out here in the wilderness.
On the plus side, if we get lost in the Wilderlands, I might be able to figure out how I ended up there when I was a kid. Maybe. Or I could get eaten by something. Who knows?
Both are possible.
Sometimes you have to roll the dice.
Well,
I need another drink.
yeah.
Yep, no, that's fair. I don't want to get lost in the Wilderlands, and I don't want to die.
It's fine. I'm sure we can figure out a way to avoid those types of situations to the best of our abilities. Knowing how these types of things work, though, the artifacts like this are usually pretty deep.
So, do you think Manannan's daughters are actually on the island?
I think a piece of them might be.
Might be why Lady Rhiannon told us to be polite.
Yes, you guys are also very bad at being polite.
I'm not.
Minus you. These three.
What do you mean? I'm the color character.
You tried selling Ewan.
We're gonna
He did
hold it
sneak on
against
us.
you for the rest of your life that you tried to sell Ewan.
You did try to sell me. I, however, do resent that particular earlier comment. I'm very polite, just not to most people. Spirits are much nicer. Sprites and whatnot.
Either way, I think that we might be able to at least go peek around at the very least. As soon as things start going weird, we leave.
Define going weird.
Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's a big phrase.
Yeah,
Things tend to just go weird all the time. It's I don't know. I know you're new to Yara, but that's sort of just how things are. Always a little weird.
We did find the doctor just walking down the road, that's true.
He did, and he killed and brought back Ophalon.
He did in fact do that, and then my patron kept a piece of Ophalon and anyway,
you a dog.
gave me a dog. I will pat his head.
Yep.
I think we'll be fine. But when it starts to get to the point where, like, we're questioning our sanity, we should probably leave. Or when one of us starts questioning their sanity, we should probably leave.
You've done that at least 4 times this morning. I don't know if one person is or should be our cutoff. I think it should maybe be 2 or 3.
How about if
I
it seems
resent
like
that
I'm
statement.
Losing my sanity.
That's true, you definitely...
What
little
if all of
heartier
us
than
just
the
go
rest of us.
insane and you're fine? Yeah, you might just be hard here. So that's why I'm saying it's like a numbers. The specifics are making this weird, guys.
How
We
about
don't know
this?
what's out there.
How about this? If things start getting strange for Ewan, leave. Because he's from there.
I am a local. You guys should use that as the marker, actually. Thank you.
So, let's just go with that. If it starts getting to the point where he's like, I don't know how I feel about this, we should leave.
Oh, okay. How do we prepare for this? I've never gone treasure hunting before.
I
Neither
can't say
have I.
I have either.
That's kind of all I do, so I think we'll be all right.
Fantastic. You all can very clearly hear the sarcasm in Juniper's voice.
I'm
a
starting
very
to lose faith
accomplished
in this
treasure hunter.
expedition.
Well, you bring like stuff to eat, and you bring like stuff for moving around, like like rope and shit. And
So,
and you just sort of look around. I mean, it's not doing anything special really.
oh, okay, so what we've been doing this entire time. Got it.
Pretty much, we're just gonna walk out there like we've walked out everywhere.
See, Lady Rhiannon returns to the table, kind of has a bunch of glasses and just sets them down, and she takes a bottle of liquor and just sets it in the center of the table, kicks back into her chair, puts her feet up on the table, and just starts taking another drink.
Juniper,
Do we stress you out that much?
Says, no? What? Oh. Right. Not home. Right. She takes her feet off of the table. There we are. I'm not used to civilized places.
Oh. I don't think a tavern in Canaldaid called Salty's is considered a polite establishment.
You're probably right. But she looks over towards the bartender who's filling out glasses for other things. And she says, but the management's nice, and I don't want to be rude. I am a lady of the summer court, after all. So, what's your plan? You're planning to hit up both of those islands tomorrow?
I mean, an attempt? I suppose.
maybe just one?
Maybe one.
Which one sounds cooler in case we don't have time to go to the second one?
The Goblet of Truth would be funnier.
Goblet of Truth might be more helpful later down the road.
I honestly only started tuning in at the goblet. I know the other thing's like a branch, but I
I
forgot
don't
what
know
it
what
does.
the fruit does on the branch.
Oh, that's what you're looking for. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh no. Did we do something stupid?
Has the old woman swindled us?
No, not at all. I don't know if they're still there. That might be worth asking. The Goblet of Truth is pretty much as it was said. Someone who drinks out of it said that they cannot speak a lie. Useful tool. If Kleena and her banshees have anything to say about it, it's going to be hard to get your hands on it, but I don't know. You're all fairly capable. The other one, the Silver Bow, well, I've only heard stories about that one myself, but it's said that those who hold or carry or wield or what have you the Silver Bow, it sort of is meant to help people recover from stress and wounds. It assuages fear in the wielder. It's a helpful little item, as it were. And it's also said that the apples sing. So I don't know what that's all about, but I know that Neve of the golden hair, she doesn't have a barrel of banshees at her back like her sister does, but I've heard she can be just as mean in the wrong circumstances. So
Well, good thing. We are pretty proficient at flattery.
well, yeah, you'll all be fine, I'm sure.
I don't know. Maybe we should go after this apple branch.
Hmm.
I agree. I think that one is the one that I would go for as well. That bow seems like it might have a lot of uses.
It would
Seems
take
like
us longer to get to that island from here, right?
From where you're at, both islands are going to be pretty much the same distance.
Okay.
I feel like that one will be the easiest one to try and find. It's a smaller island.
Hmm.
Does a smaller island mean that it's less cursed?
I think it's more of a refined cursing.
So it's more concentrated?
Yeah.
May as well get that out of the way first then.
Rip the band-aid off.
I'm with you guys. Sounds good.
Or the bandage. I apologize.
Yeah, band-aids, I don't know what that is. A weird set of...
It's a
short
specific type of bandage from the continent. Don't worry about it.
As I said, be polite and don't offer up anything you're not willing to give.
Noted.
Lady Rhiannon, does that mean that Manannan's daughters are actually on the islands?
Probably.
Probably. Are they like your like third cousin?
That particular way of looking at things gets a bit difficult.
True.
The three old men, the old Sylvanus, the old man of the forest, Donatus, the old man of the mountain, and Manannan, the old man of the sea, are all surely related to one another.
Right.
How they are related to my father,
Who knows?
who is the son of Byra, the Snow Witch, I'm not entirely sure. The family tree gets a bit weird.
Maybe no relation.
It's possible no relation.
Yeah.
I certainly have not interacted with the old man's daughters. I know that they carved out their own portions of the Wilder Land a very long time ago. And they don't often leave their courts. If it is true that that is where those islands take you, is to the courts of the sisters, I don't know. It said they hate each other, so maybe use that to your advantage. I don't know. They're supposed to be feuding, that they each want to guard both of the object, something like that. I don't know. I've mostly dealt with the summer court, not whatever the hell they've got going on.
I mean, if they feud anything like siblings do, I have seen some pretty nasty things.
Lady Rhiannon truly, laughs and says, Yeah, siblings are a kick in the head. Sometimes literally.
My youngest brother once filled our baby sister's whole nappy with only steamed potatoes.
Oh,
Terrible thing to do.
Like whole potatoes, or would they?
Like
or
whole
were they mashed?
potatoes. Like whole potatoes. And her teeny tiny little nappy, and she was itty bitty. Siblings are the worst. I've only learned from a distance. Watching my younger siblings all fight with each other. Luckily, mostly left me alone.
Well, me and my siblings I never met, but I think I have thousands of them.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, I don't really want to meet any of them.
Do you like, do our, do you guys grow from itty bitty like little actual frogs?
Well, no, but we do grow like frogs do grow.
Right.
Little eggs, then not eggs. And we have little things on our butts and then not on our butts.
But how big are the eggs that are laid?
Well, mine, if I had to guess, it was about the size of a grapefruit.
That's terrifying.
I have no idea if that's fucking accurate. They might also be micro fucking
Horrifying. Terrible.
Imagine thousands of grapefruit eggs in the fucking ocean.
Jesus.
Okay, I didn't, I shouldn't have been that curious.
You asked.
Yeah, I regret it.
Oh man, that means you were like a little pollywog person, and you see Silberry Finnegan, the proprietor, standing there with bread and cheese. That's truly that's fucking adorable, is what that is. Hi, sorry. Here's your bread and your cheese. I'm gonna go back to doing my thing. Didn't mean to listen in. My bad.
Hey, wait, before you scurry off again.
Yes, can I? Yeah.
What do you know about the Daughters of Manannan?
Oh, yeah. They're islands.
Facts.
A lot of people like talk about them, and a lot of people say that they're gonna go like try and find like jewels and like gold and stuff in the dirt, because all of it's supposed to be like the dirt from way down below us that was piled up top. But I don't know if they've ever found anything over there. If they have, they've never brought it back here. So, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, they disappeared, never to return or anything. But, like, Grossforth is right over there, and it's a bigger town with, like, more shops. So it's would be much easier just to go over there and sell any jewels that you found. So, I don't know. I just always assumed they went over there.
It's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your added information. I apologize for spooking you.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. You guys are just, I like it when new people come into town. I've heard the same stories so many times. I run an inn in a town of halflings that never leave.
Oh.
They're always here.
Well, you see, stories are what you want. My friend here, Ominda, is great at telling stories.
Really?
Yeah.
You are muted, my guy.
You are muted, my friend.
Fuck.
I fucked up.
I could tell you the story of an old pal of mine I used to call Whistling Pete if I could. And I'll kind of take him over my shoulder and I'll walk him away.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's
no.
like Silberry is like so like bent over, just like with your arm around their neck, just like, yeah, sure, okay, yeah, absolutely. Hey, do you wanna Do you want to make some money?
Well, I could make some money, yeah.
I'll give you. See, they kind of think about it for a minute, looking like they're doing serious calculations in their head. It's like, I'll give you 10 gold if you tell the story to the whole bar tonight. Keep them entertained.
Yeah, I can do that. That sounds pretty easy.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's so good. That's actually really amazing. Awesome. Yeah, you come down here at dinner time when all of the workers start coming in, and you tell that story, and everything. It's gonna be gonna be great. It's gonna be a great night. Awesome.
You won't forget it there. I'll be
Wonderful.
coming for them gold pieces.
Absolutely. And if you I'll get if you tell more than one story, I'll give you another 5 gold. And they just kind of like wander over to the bar bemusedly, just like, I get to hire somebody for a night. This is amazing.
See, I can help sometimes. I can assist a little bit. We don't always have to be at each other's throats.
And I agree. It's just sometimes it's a little funner that way.
True.
Keeps everything spicy.
Yes, we like to keep things active. Make sure it's all
That's certainly the
cohesive.
word for it.
During all of this, Juniper has reached for a mug of, I'm assuming ale is what Lady Rhiannon brought to the table.
Yes.
Wolflon's on like his third.
It's pretty good. It's halfling brewed. Halflings are notoriously good at the brewing of beers and ales and hops and all that fun stuff. So
They are good at farming.
it's a pretty good, nice, pleasant ale that you all are drinking.
Nice.
I will also partake of some alcohol.
Me too, a lot.
Yeah,
Ominda's
let's just
gonna
get
always
fucked up.
Ominda will
We've got
always
nothing
get
else to
fucked
do.
up at every opportunity.
Wonderful.
We made our plan. We got nothing else to do.
Yeah, he is made of water. It is. He needs it.
Lagua.
Truly horrific confession. Yeah, you all get in some good afternoon drinking. Bread and cheese and simple things are provided as well, keeping your bellies full. And as the afternoon passes, Lady Rhiannon says something about just needing to get a bit of fresh air, and she will leave, and you see the shimmering form of an ethereal horse follows her out of the pub. You have a suspicion she's probably going to go for a ride before the night comes.
Valid.
And as the afternoon heads into evening, many of the salt workers and dock workers and others begin to kind of show up into the pub, and this place begins to get very lively and also just smell like salty mud. As all of these halflings are just walking in with their boots and their overalls just caked in this kind of lakeside, and as such, a lot of their clothing from about the knees down, all the color is just out of it because of how much they've been around in the salt. As all of these halfling men and women just start making their way in, and you see Silberry starting to like serve drinks very fast, and now that it has gotten towards evening, they seem to have a couple of halflings on staff just for the dinner rush, who are now back in the kitchen starting to cook up specific dinner orders and things like that. And you now start to realize why Silberry was very excited that there might be somebody to perform and keep things on the level. As this place becomes packed with halflings, and they are pretty small, and all of them have at least 2 pints of ale in front of them as they are just starting their night.
That is so many cups.
Yes.
That is a lot
So
of cups.
much.
And things are starting to get a little rowdy.
God.
Yes.
I am just curious.
Of course.
As someone who has been out in the woods and has a proficiency in herbalism, with an herbalism kit, would I be able to find anything that could make this night a little more fun if I went for the hunt of it, and in a little bit of a sneaky way?
What
'cause
are
we're-
you looking for?
Are you looking for weed?
She's looking for. What are you looking for?
Possibly some yellow guild mushrooms.
She wants to go look for mushrooms.
Pretty please.
Yeah, make a nature check.
Not even fucking weed, going straight for the shrooms.
Going straight for the shrew.
Well, if I could, I just didn't think I could find weed.
Why do I have a feeling that Juniper's about to get ambushed?
Tarnished
Juniper
20.
gets shanked.
Garnish 20. You kind of at one point walk out of the bar and just start looking in the hills and stuff that lead down to the edge of this little saltwater lake here. And you start thinking about it. You're like, I could find something. Unfortunately, there is only one surefire place you know that you would find what you're looking for. And first, that means you need to find a cow. Or a herd of cows. Which you haven't seen here yet. But it's not to say there isn't a cow in the village. But there's definitely not a bunch of livestock around.
Well, I will try and head like out of the middle of town to see if I can go find a cow.
Very
Skulk
well.
about in dark.
We'll come back to you in a bit. The rest of you, inside of the pub, the food is orders are being taken, drinks are being given out, things are going on. You see Silberry truly is filling like 20 mugs of ale at a time and like passing them off to tables. And at a certain point, they just look over to you, Omenda, with a pleading look on their face, just like,
Omenda, who this whole time he has described himself as a grung, so the bard or the barkeep knows that he's a grung at this point, but he's always been looking like a halfling. He'll kind of walk up to the front of the bar, and he'll start dragging a chair behind him as he takes off his hat, undoing the disguised self, and he'll fill his gullet, and he'll just do one big like deep like a deep ribbit, as he puts the chair on top of like one of the tables, and then he'll sit on it. He'll throw his hat right into the middle, upside down with the thing up like this, right? And he'll cast light on it.
Ooh. Yeah. The feathered cap begins to glow. What color of light?
We'll just do it's like a normal soft, like a yellow, like a soft yellow.
Soft yellow, yeah. This soft yellowish light begins to emanate from the cap as the whole pub is now wrapped with attention.
Well, I done traveled mighty far to come and see everybody here today. Tell y'all a story about a pirate. This pirate's name is Whistling Pete. Whistling Pete was known throughout the 7 seas for his cunning strategies, audacious raids, and most distinctively, his melodic whistling. With a heart as wild as the ocean, his dark eyes, and a bandana tied tightly around his head, Pete struck fear into the hearts of sailors far and wide. Legend had it that his whistling could lull the seas itself to sleep, allowing his crew to infiltrate ships undetected. His tunes echoed throughout the salty air, a haunting melody that both captivated and terrified those who heard it. Many whispered that it was the souls of the fallen seafarers he had slain that haunted his whistles, giving them an eerie quality. One fateful day, as Whistling Pete's ship, the Crimson Raven, sailed towards the hidden shores of a remote island, whispers of treasure had reached the pirates' ears. It was said that on this uninhabited island, a cave lay at the heart of the wilderness, guarding untold riches. With anticipation gleaming in his eyes, Whistling Pete's crew eagerly followed their captain, their blades at the ready as they ventured into the dense jungle. The sounds of the wild surrounded them, yet Whistling Pete's whistling seemed to harmonize with the chirping of the birds, creating an eerie symphony that resonated throughout the trees. As several grueling hours of trekking through the untamed wilderness, they finally reached the entrance of the legendary cave. The entrance was guarded by carved stone figures, their stone eyes glinting eerily in the dim light. As he says that, the color of the hat will like shift to like a blue color.
Yeah.
Whistling Pete, undeterred by the warnings, let out a low chuckle before piercing the air with his melodic whistle. And he'll kind of do a deep, kind of like a high pitched, like a whistle that's like not shrill but like sharp. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As the tune carried through the cave, Whistling Pete's crew exchanged nervous glances, feeling the presence of something truly enchanting. As they delved further into the depths of the cavern, treasures beyond their wildest dreams came into view. Golden coins, and gleaming jewels, and glittering chests filled to the brim with riches adorned every corner of the cave. The pirates celebrated, laughing and cheering at their newfound fortune, but the captain's eyes were drawn to something else. There, amidst the precious loot, stood a hidden door engraved with ancient symbols. Whistling Pete felt an inexplicable pull towards it, and driven by his insatiable curiosity, he stepped forward and traced his fingers along the intricate patterns. In a moment of impulsive decision, he let out a resounding whistle, aligning the melodies with the symbols on the door. To everyone's astonishment, the massive door, groaned open, revealing a secret chamber. Inside, a single chest waited, locked tightly with a mechanism that seemed impossible to crack. Whistling Pete, determined not to be defeated, blew a series of notes that seemed to resonate with the intricate locks. As the final note rung out, a satisfying click echoed throughout the room, causing the heavy chest to slowly open. But instead of more treasure, the chest contained a parchment with a cryptic message written upon it. It spoke of an ancient curse, warning of the price to be paid for greed and lust for power. The message warned that those who take more than they need would suffer dire consequences, forever tormented by the very wealth they sought. Whistling Pete, once a man driven by ambition, was now enlightened. He realized that true wealth lay not in hoarded treasures, but in the freedom, camaraderie, and the adventure of the open sea. With newfound wisdom, Whistling Pete decided to share the prosperity they had found, distributing the treasure among the crews of rival pirate ships, thereby uniting them rather than fostering envy and greed. From that day forward, Whistling Pete sailed the seas not as a feared pirate, but as a legend, known for his melodic whistles of unity and compassion. His legacy lived on, reminding pirates of the legacy they could create through harmony rather than discord. Forever, echoing the tale of Whistling Pete, the pirate who found true wealth through the song in his heart. And the light will go out on the hat.
The light goes out, and the entire pub erupts into cheers and claps, and the halflings begin to raise their mugs. And you see, in the time this story has been being told, Silbury has gotten like all of the tables served with ale, and it's just like, that was and like looks over at you very appreciatively and says, "Everybody, our entertainment for the night, this charming fella," and he leans right into you, Amanda. What was your name again?
My name, Omar Frogman.
Omar Frogman! Hey! And you see the halflings, yeah, woo, yeah. Sometimes, in the words of Brendan Lee Mulligan, a player hands you a nat 20 performance check. And you just got to roll with that. Because you had the entire story just ready to go. Go ahead and take an inspiration there, boss.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Awesome.
Remember that we do not do portent for this game. We do just it will be advantage on your on a roll of your choice.
Oh, okay. It's like regular inspiration or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Ow.
Don't do that, it hurts.
It did hurt. Yeah, everybody cheers and looking down, Omenda, you find not only the 10 gold that Silbury had promised you inside of the hat, you find, how generous am I? You find a further 60 gold,
Nice.
having been forked over by many of the halflings here who seem to be very happy to have heard a new story themselves. So all in all, you got about 70 gold in your hat.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
He won't even take it out. He'll just put the hat right back on top and just.
You hear, as everybody is cheering and kind of going about, you see the food orders are starting to come out. The drinks have been served. Silbury just gives you a nod and says, "Thank you."
He tips his cat. He just.
You hear a rather broguish voice from the other side of the barroom floor. Amanda says, "Is that the feathered cap of Ferd McPherson that I see over there?"
Amanda will turn.
Yeah.
Just like, no.
Amanda, you see a just busted looking male halfling. He's got a big chunk out of his nose. He's got all these facial scars, but including one eye that's kind of gouged out, but he's not wearing an eye patch. He has the garb of someone who is a bit more familiar with the sea than this sort of inland lakeside life. And he's just looking at you through this one good eye that's still kind of squinty, and he's looking over at you. And you say, no. Make a deception check.
I have a +8 to deception. And I rolled an 18 on the die for 26.
See,
God damn.
he looks at you, and he looks at the hat, and you see he like starts thinking real hard about what he saw about 10 minutes ago.
You just broke this man's brain.
When you fully took off the hat and changed into a different person, and just looks at you and says, all right. My mistake, I guess.
What have you heard about this cat? This feared McPherson person?
Feared McPherson was a fearsome sailor back in my time. We sailed out from the port in Dennis Undad a fair few times. Heard his ship went down. That was a long time ago.
Well, me and him ain't too much. Well, me and him are pretty alike. You know, done lost my ship here recently myself.
Maybe it's the hat. Maybe the hat's cursed.
Maybe that's possible. Well, let me know. What they say your name was, Steak? We'll be here all night in case you want to chat up about this hat here.
Righto. Say, you didn't prize it off of my friend's cold dead body, did you?
Well, no, actually. You see, I actually found this hat at sea.
Well, that makes sense. Make a persuasion check, Amanda.
I don't actually know where I got this hat from, Kyle. It was just kind of given to me.
I know.
Low as hell. But I got an 8 + 8 to it, so that's a 11.
You see, he just kind of looks at you and he says, all right. Sure. I believe you. We'll see ya, Frogman. We'll see ya.
You too, Steak.
Keep
my eyes out in the road for you.
And you return to the rest of your group.
Paul's just like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want your lore, Kyle. Fuck off.
I name dropped his special artifact that he got from the beginning of the campaign, and he just said no. And I respected the hell out of it for it.
That was incredible.
Because it was totally on brand.
Now I definitely am. Now Omenda's definitely going to want to inquire more about this hat.
I will say, for the purposes of how you acquired that hat, because it's the first thing you said, and because you legitimately were trying to tell the truth, you did in fact just find that hat at sea. You didn't take it off any corpse or nothing. You just found it.
Oh wow, yeah, cool. I honestly think that's kind of cooler than getting it off a corpse as a pirate.
Absolutely.
Especially once you figured out what it did.
Yeah. Alrighty. The evening continues. It's raucous. There are now that somebody has performed, you see like drunken halflings like pulling out squeeze boxes and flutes, kind of trying to put together a little makeshift band to try and keep people entertained. Silbury's like, one person can stand on the table, maybe two. You cannot all stand on the table. It's going to break. And is just trying to keep things in line. You do see that some of the guards, including the captain of the guard, Captain Flowers, is like leaned up against the wall in the back, having a drink himself and just enjoying the atmosphere here. But this is kind of how things are going to proceed for the rest of the night. Does anybody else have anything they want to do before you go to bed that night? Yes, Amanda.
Is Steak still in the bar?
Yeah, he doesn't leave. He's with a couple others just drinking.
Oh, okay.
Keeping his one eye out on you.
Ominda's gonna also just be watching him the rest of the night too.
Yeah.
I did sneak out of the bar.
You did sneak out of the bar. I was just checking on everybody else in the bar before we headed back to Kyra.
I think Ewan is gonna go get some fresh air. That was a lot. That's a lot of people in there.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Juniper's feeling the same.
Ophalon, how's this atmosphere doing for you? Pretty good?
Ophalon's having a pretty good time, honestly. Like, the story was entertaining. Ophalon's been enjoying himself as much ale as he can consume.
Yeah.
Just ale, jerk, ale, jerky, ale, jerky.
There have been a couple of times that ale has been brought for the entire table, and Ophalon has downed all of those ales.
Should I make a con save?
Yeah.
How drunk is Juniper right now?
How much did you drink?
She had like two mugs.
You're probably fine. This has all been spaced out since like the afternoon.
That's a 16.
I'm just gonna
Ophalon's doing.
roll.
That's
I'm
a
only gonna
16.
drink alcohol.
Ophalon's doing just fine.
Well, I mean, you didn't set the DC here, bud.
That's fair. He thinks he is. Is he?
He thinks he is. We'll leave it at that.
Mate's gonna be dancing on top of the tables here in a minute.
Ewan and Juniper
Who's going?
kind of head out just to get a bit of fresh air. The conglomeration of halflings just sort of spills out of the pub onto the deck out front, but only about to that deck. So if you step off of the deck and into like the town square, it's a lot easier to breathe. As for Kyra, you are on the hunt for something very specific. You're looking for a cow. Go ahead and roll for me. This is going to, since you're looking for something specific, this is going to be an investigation check.
Eight.
8.
My new dice don't like me very much.
You
Gotta smoke on 'em more.
spend a fair bit of time searching, and you're getting to the point where you're like, you're getting very frustrated because you're like, these halflings don't even have a fucking dairy cow. What the hell is going on? And you find yourself searching for quite a while. You're to the point where you're about to give up when you hear from a little ways away, you hear as your hound seems to have found something.
I will head that way, skulking about.
As you arrive over in that direction, you see an old lean-to sort of a not a barn, but like a hay storage area on the side of some old halfling farmer's house at the edge of town, and you find two black and white spotted dairy cows just sitting in there munching on some hay.
Awesome.
Took you about an hour and a half.
Grand. Normally I'm a lot better at this. I will, can I go, like, around to the back side of their, like, lean-to enclosure?
Yes, you can. Mikaira, I don't think I need to tell you where you're looking for these mushrooms. It's a very common place for them to grow, and as long as they're cleaned thoroughly, no, none the worse. However, you know you are probably looking for something that has been there for a while and is rather dry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do I find anything?
This is going to be another investigation check, a more specific one.
Uh-oh. You got this. Nice.
16.
You do see an area of where you think you're gonna need to look.
Alright. I'm not scared of anything. I'm gonna start digging.
Yeah. As Kyra begins to truly just flip over cow pies, looking for mushrooms,
Christ.
Ewan and Juniper, having walked out of the bar to get a bit of fresh air, what are you two up to?
I'm gonna go wander for a while. And Ewan is gonna kneel down to whatever portion of the ground his shadow is on.
Uh-huh.
And just look his shadow in the eye and just say, "Walk with me for a little while." And summon our friend.
Yeah.
Gather a hair.
Juniper, I think truly for the first time you watch as a jet black rabbit just kind of, or hare, I suppose, just kind of emerges from Ewan's shadow, just kind of staring up at his face. Nose twitching.
And I hand her a little chunk of cheese and a heel of bread as she emerges.
It's gone in about a second and a half.
Fantastic. And I'm gonna walk, say southwest for shits and giggles.
Okay.
Ish, just that vague direction.
Sure.
Just wander.
You begin to wander in a southwest direction, which happens to be, if you keep going southwest, what you're eventually going to find yourself in is the salt harvesting section on the outskirts of town. But you just start to walk. A small leoporine form at your side, intentionally slowing itself down. Although you can feel the jittery vibration as it uses all of its energy just to stay at your pace.
Oh, I was going to say you can absolutely zip about. Just, I might talk to the air, so stay close.
Okay, bye. Juniper, are you just hanging around outside getting some fresh air?
Juniper's reaction to Ewan's little rabbit friend is, huh.
Yeah.
From the doorway of the inn, can she see the innkeeper?
Yeah.
She flags him down.
Yeah. Silbury like sees you and like says, "Oh, yeah. How can I help you, miss?"
Is there a small public space here in this town with like trees? Anything like that?
Not really trees. The small public area, and Silbury, they just kind of gesture to the town square that is like right in front of you, which is currently mostly devoid of people because they're all in the pub. Just kind of gestures at the town square and says, "This is kind of the public area in town. I think the Reeve has a tree, but it's like in his yard. You could ask the Reeve."
Does Juniper just see a place to sit in the square?
Oh yeah, there's benches and stuff.
She picks one that's close by like some shrubs or something.
Wonderful.
And then she's going to feed Bramble a little bit of food. And then she's going to just play her viol.
You got it. Make a performance check, Juniper.
$17.
17. Yeah. Juniper, you begin to play out here in the nice, quiet evening air. The smell of the salt from the lake, or the smell of the salt lake, just kind of pleasant here. It's like being on the seaside again. And as you play, you feel Bramble purring next to you. And after a bit of time, you like open your eyes and you see like a smattering of people have like stumbled out of the pub very drunk, like on their way home, and have just stopped on the other side, like fully like 30 feet away from you, just staring at you where you're playing, and you come to an end of the song and they go, "Hey," and then they all just start walking back to their homes.
Way. Drunk Celtic, way to go.
Juniper just kind of chuckles to herself softly.
Yeah.
Does she see Kyra out and about at all?
There are a couple of times where you see Kyra just kind of meandering in the distance, but always she just kind of disappears around a corner. And it's like, and then you don't see her again for like another 20 minutes or something.
Alright, well, she just keeps sitting with Bramble and just kind of enjoying being
Sure thing.
outside and away from people.
Ewan, as you head through the village, you start heading in the southwesterly direction. Not a very large village. Doesn't take you too long to get towards the edge of it. And it very quickly returns to just plains, and you see, as you're walking onto the beach here, you see the abandoned salt harvesting pools. Look a little eerie in the evening light here.
Ewan's eyes are drawn up towards the, I guess the horizon, sort of, because this is a very large salt lake, judging by the map. From what I can, I
Yes, it is
probably can't
quite
see the other
large.
side
About
of it.
80
Yeah.
miles across.
Oh yeah. So Ewan's eyes gaze out across it, thinking of stories heard previously in the day.
Sure. Absolutely. Let me find something that's a bit more fitting for what Ewan's doing. Where did the one I want go?
It's the one that you want.
Yeah, you just start gazing out at the horizon. Kind of the first thing you see looking out on the lake is you see the shapes of those islands again. And strangely, the weather that is around here, it's fairly cloudy here inland around this lake. Which makes sense. It's a large body of water in the center of a low area. You see that still there is light shining through the clouds from the moon down onto the island known as Neve. And still the other island, Kleena, is shrouded in darkness. And now it's very dark. It is nighttime. And none of that light from the moon shines upon it at this time. The water is still eerie. Although a couple of times you think you do see small boats out on the water. Simple things, dinghies, not anything fanciful. Looks like possibly some fishermen that are coming in late for the day. What else are you doing here, Ewan?
I think after taking a moment to sort of take that scene in, and have those thoughts, he probably just pretty quickly turns back around and starts looping around the village. It's sort of his motif at a new place to perimeter it and kind of get a general vibe for it.
Yeah. You begin to walk the perimeter of this village. At one point, looking a bit looking into the village a bit, you're pretty sure you see not Kyra herself, but Kyra's hound, Taran, kind of not galloping, but just kind of trotting through the village. But you continue your perimeter walk.
Hard to miss it.
True.
I
imagine
is very difficult.
Big puppy.
I imagine the hair is fucking with it anytime they intersect.
Yeah, for sure. Aha! You continue your walk. It takes about 10-15 minutes to kind of walk the arc of this village. It's less than about 1,000 people that live here. It's not tremendously big. It is a bit more your flair here on the edge of town. The light and noise coming from your left side, but the dark, cool air of night on the plains to your right. It's a strange life that you've found yourself living now, Ewan. Straddling both of these worlds. Of the past few days, traveling, the time that and what you've learned since leaving Dinasundad, since conversations with the Dagda and others. What's occupying Ewan's mind?
I think Ewan is probably really invested in like reconnecting, I guess, with the Dagda, or like revisiting his burrow, shall we call it? Again, I think there's a like probably a longing almost, and not like a homesickness, but like there's answers there I didn't know to look for, maybe.
Yeah. You're
And,
thinking. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it.
No, go ahead.
Your mind is focused on the Dagda, and you're thinking back to this little piece of comfort and warmth and just peace that he seemed to carry with himself. And the memories, not that he unlocked in your mind, but that he just retraced with you. Going back almost as far as you can remember. An interesting power. And you remember the taste of the food that was shared with your comrades and the food that appeared in your bowl. Yes. Comfort. Answering of questions. Ewan, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
$21.
21. 21. With a 21, Ewan, as you are walking about here, you catch sight of some movement ahead of you. At first, you think it is your companion, just moving through the darkness here. But you notice it is a fair bit bigger than her, though not by much. As you see a coterie of squat figures moving in the darkness. Probably, how far is your dark vision? 60 feet? It's right at about the limit of that, so about 60 or so feet ahead of you.
Are they remaining consistently 60 or so feet ahead of me?
They are, if you continue walking, it seems like you're getting closer to them. But they are walking perpendicular to how they're walking into the village. You are walking around it.
Well, I don't mind getting up and do a little bit of mischief. I'll make sure that my general vicinity is clear. Before doing my thing where I duck into a bush and am no longer humanoid.
Wonderful. What is your Ewan of choice today?
I think the Ewan of choice today, we're gonna get a little bit cheeky with it. I'm gonna turn into a stoat.
A stoat. You turn into a stoat and duck into a bush, and you hear, "Ah, stoat!" And your companion goes just outside of the bush, hidden in the darkness still.
I will telepathically. It's me.
Oh, right. You were a fox before. Okay, everything's fine. It's all good. Warn me, please.
Sorry, I forgot this one was new. I didn't really think too much about it. And then I'm gonna, move out of the bush and
Yeah.
let's go see what those people are talking about.
Okay. I would like you and your familiar to both make stealth checks for me using the forms that you are. Well, your familiar will use the normal stat block because for all intents and purposes it is a quick link.
Yeah.
You will need to use the stealth of the animal you have turned into.
Our dear friend rolled a natural 20,
Right.
and myself is going to use a luck point because I rolled a 5, and I just don't think that's high enough for me today.
Do you have the weasel stat block?
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the weasel stat block. So let's see. A stealth check, you said?
Yes, please.
So that is a God. That die loves to roll 14s. It's a 19.
It's a what?
It's a 19.
A 19. That's really good.
Very stealthy stoat.
And
And
you
hers would be
begin to-
totality.
Yeah.
A 28.
You see the two of you just kind of creep up in the darkness, and as you get closer, Ewan, you hear the sound of these beings. They're taking really like heavy steps, it seems, and you're getting closer and you think, oh, they're halflings or they're gnomes, but you see each of them is wearing a pair of metal shoes. And as they arrive out of the dirt here, you hear those metal shoes start to clatter against the cobblestone. And as they enter the town under a light next to a house in front of you, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
I have to swap it back to the stoat perception. Same bonus. 23.
23. You see about 4 or 5 of these squat little people that at first you thought they might be halflings, maybe gnomes, but you hear this kind of clattering of metal feet, and you see these grayish white thistle-like beards on each of the faces, and each of them is wearing a sagging red cap on their heads, and is kind of bedecked in a simple garb, not unlike your garb, like foresty compiled stuff. But you do see that each one of them is holding some sort of very sharp implement. One has a sickle, one has a large pitchfork, one has a hatchet, like a big hatchet, and the other has like an awl, like one of those an awl. It's like it's an axe on one side but a hammer on the other. And he's got that slung over his shoulder, and you see they're kind of muttering to each other under their breath, under the light of this shining out from one of these houses.
Do they look like they're okay? Do I know what these things are? Have I encountered anything like this, being a fringe forest creature myself?
Yeah. You can make for me nature or history on this one.
Do a nature
I
check.
will give you advantage.
Okay. 5. 10. 9.
9.
Yeah.
You The closest thing you can compare these creatures to are gnomes, but you don't see, they're not wearing the masks that you've seen a lot of gnomish folk wearing. Their faces are fully uncovered, and there's, like I say, this like bristly broom-like facial hair is on each of their faces, and you are close enough that you did roll high enough perception that you actually can hear them talking to each other. Do you speak Sylvan?
I do speak Sylvan.
You do
yes.
speak Sylvan. You just hear them. It's like, wait, what are we supposed to be looking for? I don't know. They told us to come in here. I don't want to judge. Don't tell us what they've been telling. Tell us what you're telling. And they just start to like push and shove each other. This seems like they're arguing about something. Before the one that was kind of in the lead, the one with that like half axe, half hammer thing, just says, "Shush, hush, hush. We're here to find food. You go that way. You go that way. You, that house there. In and out. Get as much food. And let's fuck off." You see two of them like nod and start to wander further in, and the other one turns and looks up at the house in front and just says and clunks up the stairs in the metal shoes, clunk, 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 gets up to the door and just fully, despite being quite small, kicks the door open. And you're gonna say, "Oh, who's in there?" And you hear a woman begin to scream. Yeah.
I think that might be our cue. And I'm gonna, as a little stoat, start running forward.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll initiative, Ewan.
Okay. I get advantage on these now. 22.
Ooh.
I didn't know this was gonna happen. I was just
Neither did I.
doing some soul searching. I think Kyra's also doing some soul searching, but it's a very different kind.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's get. Let's go.
Yippee wahoo.
Yippee wahoo! All right. Boop boop. And for the time being, we're gonna do that. Save that.
No, earlier when Amanda started telling you a story, I just had pop in my head, "This is the tale of Captain Jack Sparrow."
All right. What was your initiative, Ewan?
22.
22. And then we're also going to put quickly. And then would you, this is just for you going forward, Ewan, would you like to roll initiative for your familiar, or would you just like your familiar to go after you in combat?
I think going after me in combat's probably easiest.
That is totally fine with me. Boop. Alrighty, Ewan, in the form of a stoat, you and your companion run up. Where are you headed? Directly up onto the porch where this one has just burst through a door?
Yeah, I think that's the
Yeah.
appropriate course of
Uh,
action.
you get up to the door, and even as a stoat, a truly horrifying sight as this being with this was the one with the sickle has cut a halfling woman from shoulder to hip with the sickle, and is like menacing over her as she's like stumbling backwards. This is the top of the combat, and it's you, my guy, in the form of a stoat. What are you up to?
I'm gonna crawl up his pant leg and bite him in the inner thigh.
Ooh, intriguing. Go ahead and make an unarmed attack, or just make a bite attack for me as a weasel.
Bite attack. Little weasel bite. Natural 20.
That's fucking hilarious.
Bit him on the balls.
Bit him on the balls.
Stomp him to death.
I mean, that's definitely gonna hit. Roll the bite damage.
The bite damage is 1 piercing damage.
It is 1 piercing damage, so it is
Like-
2 piercing damage.
Yeah.
And he does not have any defense against non-magical things, so he's gonna take 2 points of damage, and says, "Ah, get off me! Get off!" And is just gonna start punching his inner thigh with his free hand.
Oh my god.
And swinging the sickle around wildly.
He's gonna punch himself in the dick.
Is that the end of your turn, Ewan?
I believe no, I'm gonna use my bonus action to make like an unarmed strike and just kind of like dig my little stoat claws into his flesh.
Oh, please do.
Just really hold on for the ride.
Yeah.
Get
Get off! Get off! Get off me! Get off me!
Yeah, that's all. That's all. Until he breaks me out of the stoat, I'm just gonna do stoat things.
Okay. How much did you hit with that unarmed strike?
Does a 14 hit if I'm clenched to his inner thigh?
A 14 just hits.
Amazing. 1 piercing damage.
1 piercing damage. At the end of your turn, Ewan, it is your companion's turn.
I think what she's gonna do is, with her grotesque movement speed, gonna run up and, is she gonna be able to, like, would she be able to, attempt to disarm or steal this sickle from this creature?
Let me...
She's pretty small, so I understand if that would be
She
out
is
of her
fairly
capability.
small. Let me
Yes.
just...
Truly has a strength of 4.
Yes. I just want to look at... For your purposes, it is a familiar. And I think familiars do have things that they can do. We'll just use this as an example.
Can't attack, but it can take other actions as normal. It says.
Yes.
Oh.
It can take other actions as normal. So, I would say, because only sadly, because of how the rules of familiars work, only Juniper's cat gets to attack things.
That's all right.
But your familiar can, I will say, your familiar can use the actions that take the place of an attack. So
Okay.
if you would like to attempt to disarm this creature, you may. It will be your familiar's athletics versus the creature's athletics.
Good to know. Good to know. Maybe that won't be the course of action it takes. Maybe it'll just can it just like do figure eights between its legs just to disrupt it even further?
Yeah, would you like to essentially have your familiar give the help action to you
Yeah.
for any future things? Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's going to start dashing around, trying to cause a little bit of chaos, running between the legs. The being, the creature here, is going to take 3 hearty punches at its own crotch in an attempt to find this thing that has bitten onto its thigh. That's going to be... a 25 to hit. That was really high.
Yeah. That does in fact hit me.
That's going to be 1 point of damage.
That is exactly enough for me to no longer be a stoat.
So inside of this creature's pants,
Yes.
as Ewan gets rocked in his little stoat head, you transition back into your full summertime Eladrin form, ripping this thing's pants wide open as you now stand up in front looking down at it. It's
Take another
little-
swing.
It looks up at you, and you see where it's bleeding down its inner thigh, full dick out. This little creature looks up at you, takes some of the blood, smears it on its sickle, and just grins at you wickedly. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
That can't be good.
Oh no. Very fun.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Sorry guys, I really didn't mean to go start trouble. I was just walking. Sure.
Jacob wanted to go see that Knuckleavy in the distance.
I didn't, like, really super didn't, but I love horror, so, you know,
Sure.
we were talking about it. He had to go just in case, you know, maybe he did, maybe he didn't.
By the way, Vel, was that the what you thought the Kelpie was back in the first sessions? Was that guy?
I was
Yeah.
terrified. I
Yeah.
was like, Kyle,
Yeah.
no.
Not right off the bat.
Hey guys, did you know that my familiar has a little idol?
Oh, it's so cool. I love her.
She's fantastic. Jacob has the name decided, but I think Ewan's gonna take a little bit longer to come to the
Yeah.
conclusion.
Adorable.
Red caps, yay!
Yay, red caps!
They
God, I can't
suck.
wait. I can't wait until I have one more level of monk, and I'll actually be able to know what the fuck I'm looking at when I make
True.
nature checks.
Also, for the purposes of your wild shaping later, Jacob, do keep in mind red caps are fey, so you can write that down on your list of things.
Go ahead and take a peek.
They are only challenge rating 1, so
I can already turn into one then.
Uno.
well, yeah, you can already turn into one because
Means that's amazing.
you can turn into plants and fey in addition to beasts because of fey fuckery, and also because I hate myself.
Evidently.
Yeah. You guys get a fun little combat, and hopefully we get a chance to introduce Josh next time. Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Hastily
Yes.
thrown together session to make up for the fact that we were down a person. But it all worked out.
Hey, man, it worked out. And you guys finally got to hear the story of Whistling Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys
Whistling
are-
Pete.
Very
And you
good
guys are
story.
gonna get to go